I'm Dr. Phyllis Collins of DietHobby.com. Some of you know me as the YouTube Grandma. Today I have a real treat because I'm going to make real, non-diet chocolate chip cookies. I do this sometimes for the holidays or for whenever, and I can have one cookie, 184 calories, if I want to trade it for a meal, or if I want to have some really tiny meals. So I'm going to show you how that you can have cookies, how you can make cookies when you're on a diet. But you have to store away the extras. You can't be eating a whole plate of cookies or a whole batch of cookies, because this makes 32 cookies, and 32 times 184 calories is a whole lot of calories. Alright, this is my special recipe that I like a lot, and a lot of people have given me compliments on it, and I think it's wonderful. So I'm going to start out with 2 sticks of butter. This is real butter that's at room temperature. And then I'm going to add my sugar. And I'm going to add a ½ cup of white sugar. And I'm going to add a cup of brown sugar. And by the way, a lot of people don't understand that brown sugar is no more healthy than white sugar. All it is white sugar that has a little bit of molasses in it to color it. They're both the same. Not one is not any more healthy than the other one. Okay? So now I'm going to cream these sugars up. My butter and my sugars are creamed together. Now I'm going to take my flour. I've got 2½ cups of white flour. I have a ½ teaspoon of baking soda, and I have a ½ teaspoon of salt, because the butter has salt in it. I'm not using unsalted butter, so that's why it's such a small amount of salt. And then I'm going to take, these are my dry ingredients, and I'm going to take these ingredients and I'm going to stir them around together. Now, into my wet ingredients, which I've already done, I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and I'm going to put 2 eggs. I'm going to beat these up again. Okay, now I'm going to add the flour, a little bit at a time. Maybe 1/3 of it at a time. I guess I did a half. And we'll turn on real low, so it doesn't go all over the air. Well, too late. I'm too impatient. Okay. Now the rest of it. Okay, now the flour has been incorporated in with the wet ingredients. You don't want to beat this too long, because I don't really know why, but the recipe says don't beat it too long. Maybe it'll get tough or something. Okay, so we've got the cookie part. Now, the next thing is I'm going to add the chocolate chip part. This is 2 cups of regular chocolate chips. These are Toll House, but any kind that you want to use are fine. And I just dump those in my mixer like that. And just a little tiny bit to get them mixed up. Okay, now it calls also for a cup of walnuts. I have a cup of chopped walnuts, and I'm going to add those in. I'm going to do the same thing, but not very long, because I don't want these walnuts to be totally pulverized. I want them to still be little chunks. I just want them to be a little mixed up. Okay, so kind of, you know, when you're doing a mixer, you always kind of scrape down the sides to make sure that everything gets mixed up. That's it. So I got the cookies ready, and you can see here's the chocolate chip cookie dough. Doesn't it look wonderful? I think I'm going to have to taste it, but it's hard to count how many calories in tasting. I guess I'll wait till a little bit later, and then I will. Okay. Now I have to make 36 cookies out of this. So my question, you know, it's how am I going to do that? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out, I'm going to kind of divide it in little blobs as evenly as I can. And you know, calories is not an exact thing. Nobody can really have an exact amount of calories, and even the stuff that we buy, you can't have an exact amount that says it on the label. So what we're doing is we're estimating, and we're doing the best that we can. So I'm dividing up all of this yummy looking chocolate chip cookie dough into thirds, because it's going to be 3 dozen. So each one of these is going to be 1 dozen cookies. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a lot better than if I didn't do it. You say, why go to all this trouble? Because I don't want to be fat. Been fat, didn't care for it, don't want to be fat again. But I'm not willing to give up cookies entirely. So this is the way that I manage to have a little bit of cookies now and then that are full sugar cookies. And I have some really good non-diet cookies too that I like. But once in a while, you just want to make some, I just want to make some full sugar cookies. Okay, now I got here approximately divided in thirds, okay? So for now, I'm going to take these 2/3 away and put them away. And I've got here about, okay, let's divide this 1 dozen in half. Okay, so now that's a 1/2 dozen. Okay, now 1/2 dozen is 6. So I need to be able to divide this in thirds, approximate thirds. You know, you're not going to get it even, but just be careful you don't always take the biggest piece. Okay, and that's thirds. So there's 6. Okay, now when I make the cookies, I'm going to make like half of each one of these is going to be 1 cookie. Alright, and so here's my pan. And I'm going to take my cookie dough, and I'm going to take half of each one of these, and I'm going to kind of put it together in a spoon and put it in the cookie. And some of them will be a little bigger than others, but it'll be essentially right. Now, if I can force myself to take a medium-sized cookie, not the biggest cookie and not the smallest cookie, I'll be very close to the 186 calories, 184 calories, and probably, just as a rough estimate, I could call each one of these 200 calories, because it's about 200, 220 for one of those Subway chocolate chip cookies. And these are very similar, only way, way better tasting. Now, was that 2, 2? I lost track. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, this is 1. Half of this one. Now, a lot of times when I make cookies, by the way, I make cookies half this size. If I make cookies half this size, they're only about 92 calories a cookie, and but these are not just for me. So I'm gonna make the full. I'm making a full size cookie. Okay? I think I might. Well, I really want to take. Well, I'll taste it later. Okay, so there I am with the cookies. Now, I have my oven preheating at 300 degrees. This is different for this recipe. You want to do 300 degrees, not 350, not 375, not 325, 300 degrees, and you want to do it for 19 minutes. Maybe 20 or 21 even, but for sure 19 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to put them in my 300 degree oven. Don't they look good? For 19 minutes. And then, let's set the timer for 19. And then in 19 minutes, we'll come back and I'll show them to you. And I wish I could give you one, but I can't. But I'll taste it for you and let you know how it tastes. While the cookies are in the oven, I'm going to show you one of the tips and tricks of storing cookies. I've already done a far better job of it in the video calling storing cookies, but I'm just going to touch on it a little bit here to explain to you how it works. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Glad Press and Seal. It's kind of a sticky paper that I buy. And you don't have to use this kind. This is just the way I do it because it's easy. And I take this and I open it up, and the sticky side, I'm putting the sticky side up. Okay? Now, what I'm doing here is the same thing that I did before, in that I'm dividing half, then I'm dividing thirds, then thirds, and then thirds, and then each one of those is going to be half. Okay? And I'm not using a spoon, I'm using my fingers to divide these up. And I'm just going to stick them here in little balls. Because what I'm doing is I'm going to freeze these cookie dough. I'm not going to make all these cookies today because I don't want to eat all these cookies today. And this is one of the little tricks I have for portion control that I'm sharing with you. So I'm taking these cookies. This is the leftover cookie dough from one of the thirds, and I'm taking and 3, 6, 9. I did something wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Because okay, well, I'll just have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 12, so I'm going to have to divide. I'll just divide this up kind of evenly between all of the cookies because as I was talking to you, somehow I got off track, and you could probably figure out how I got off track better than I could. Okay. Oh, I want to lick my fingers so bad. Oh. All right. So now I have here 12 cookies, and I'm going to take and put another sheet of Press and Seal over the top of these cookies. And I'm going to press them down in between each one. And seal these cookies up. Okay, and now they're sealed up individually. And look, I have these cookies. I'm going to put them in the freezer. And then when I want a cookie, then I will come with my scissors and I will cut off 1 cookie or 2 cookies. See, I'm going to give my husband 3 cookies and me 1 cookie. I will cut off 4 frozen cookies and I will bring them out, and I will get the cookie sheet out, and I will take out and I will thaw them out, and then when they're thawed out, I will bake 4 cookies, and it'll be just like they were fresh. In the meantime, there they are, the leftover cookies, and I didn't eat them. The cookies are ready. Here are how this is how they turned out. They look really good. I'm going to put them on this cooling sheet, and then you'll be able to see them even better. And there they are, non-diet chocolate chip cookies. Okay? So I'm going to pick one out, and I'm not going to get the biggest one, and I'm not going to get the smallest one. Here's a medium-sized one right here. And this is how they turned out. This is how a medium-sized chocolate chip cookie, it's 184 calories each. Now, if I were to have a Mrs. Fields chocolate chip cookie, I will tell you right now it would be larger. They're regular cookies, but a Mrs. Fields chocolate chip cookie, one chocolate chip cookie like this, is 350 calories. So that's because it's double this size. Okay? So I'm going to take a picture of it, but I think I'm going to take a picture of another one because this one I've been waiting a long time to taste. Mmm. Soft and sweet. Chocolatey with the chocolate chips and nuts. See? I'm just not able to give these up forever. Once in a while, I can have one, but I have to be careful. Now, I'm going to leave these out, and my husband, or I'm going to leave maybe 3 of these out for my husband, and the others I'm going to freeze already cooked. And here is what I did with the rest of my cookie dough. The other 2 dozen cookies are all here, just like this. And they're going in my freezer, and I'll take them out. When my husband wants them, I can cut 3 out and cook my husband just 3 cookies. And if I want one, I can cook me one. Okay? But that way, I don't have 3 dozen cookies sitting here, because 3 dozen times 184 could make me really, really fat, really fast. I hope that you've learned something and that you've enjoyed this video. Some people would be really shocked. You go, why are you making full-fat, regular, non-diet chocolate chip cookies when you say it's a low-calorie, low-carb recipe? It's because I don't really have a cooking show. What I do here is I show you how I cook and how I eat in my own dieting lifestyle, to show you how it can be done, and maybe it'll give you ideas on how you can do something too. Come and see me, diethobby.com.